bring to order our Opportunity Youth Academy Governing Board meeting, number 013. I'm Dr. Mary Ann Dewan, County Superintendent of Schools and Chair of the OYA Governing Board. As I've just called to order and completed roll call, the time is now 4 p.m. I'll take action now to adopt the agenda for today's meeting. This agenda includes an opportunity for public comments, consent action items on previous minutes, and an information item on our Educator Effectiveness Block Grant. So the agenda is adopted, and at this time I'd like to understand from staff or if there are any members of the public desiring to address the board on items not on the agenda.
Not at this time, Dr. Dewan.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next agenda item, which is our consent action items. And I'll take action to move and to approve the minutes from the October 29th, 2021 board meeting as presented in the agenda. Those minutes are approved. Our next agenda item is an information item on the new Educator Effectiveness Block Grant. And this is a renewal of a former funding source, also called Educator Effectiveness. And this will bring additional funds specific to professional development for the fiscal year starting 21 through 2026. And these funds are to be used to support professional learning for certificated teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and certificated staff. And these have a focus on equity, quality, and effectiveness. At this time, I'd like to request staff to provide a report on your proposed plans for utilizing the funds and the priority areas that you anticipate addressing.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dewan. Let me see if my video is on. I don't believe it is.
It is. I don't see your video.
Yep, there I am. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Dewan. The Educator Effectiveness Block Grant provides funds to county offices of education, and school districts, and charter schools to provide professional learning and to promote educator equity, quality, and effectiveness. The estimated allocation amount of the Opportunity Youth Academy is $50,732 and is one-time funding that is restricted to provide professional learning for teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and classified staff. Within the allowable professional learning expenditures of the grant, we plan to focus our allocation in these 6 professional learning categories listed here. You can see in the table the planned expenditures for each. All categories support professional development for all of our staff and focus on promoting educator equity, quality, and effectiveness. And I will discuss specific actions under each focus area in the next few slides. Under focus area number 1, professional learning opportunities will be available to staff in the areas of literacy, leadership, and equity. And these opportunities will be either individual per teacher or as a group, as a school staff. Under focus area number 2, professional learning will be designed around student needs that are identified from analysis of student achievement data and from direct teacher input. The professional learning will be focused on both content and pedagogy. Under focus area number 3, training and professional development will be designed to support staff in identifying students who are struggling academically and who are struggling to re-engage in school. For focus area number 4, support ongoing professional development for teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and support staff around social emotional learning that supports students in acquiring and applying the knowledge, attitudes, and skills to manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships with peers and adults, and make responsible decisions. For focus area number 6, professional development will be designed on the process and procedures of identifying students with special needs and steps of developing an IEP or a 504 that best serves the students. And for focus area number 7, training and professional development will be designed for all teachers and paraprofessionals in integrated and designated ELD programs, provide teachers with research-based professional development designed to increase the English language development and the academic achievement for English learning students. Our next steps is having tonight the opportunity to present our plan. Our adoption of the plan is at our next board meeting, which is December 16th. And then in November and May is when the funds will be allocated to OYA. And then in September 2026 is when we are to make sure that it's fully expended by then. And that is our short presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have, Dr. Dewan.
Thank you for the presentation. I was interested in hearing just a little bit more about the literacy across all content areas under focus area 2.
Correct. So one thing I'd like to point out is that the funding or the plan we are proposing is to implement next year. That would give us some an opportunity for this year to look at some of the professional development opportunities, particularly in literacy. If that would mean that we would look at partnering with some of the departments in the county office and ask if there are some opportunities in reading, writing for our students, but primarily providing some of the strategies that teachers can use in small group or individual learning. So I don't have specifics at this point. I want to get some input from teachers to see where they feel is the best need, that they can identify some of those professional opportunities for them.
Okay, I think that's fair. And we don't have a significant amount of money here to allocate across these priorities, but certain programs, and as you mentioned, if you utilize expertise of the county office staff, you could likely leverage in some pretty significant ways. I'm also wondering on learning area 4, strategies to implement the social emotional learning and trauma informed practices, suicide prevention, and access to mental health services. You've identified the social emotional learning. I am wondering about some of the needs and opportunities around suicide prevention and the possibility whether Opportunity Youth Academy teachers are already taking part in the available Cognito training in this area, or if mental health first aid training is something that the team would like to consider under this area.
Right, and I will definitely bring that to the staff as a discussion point, and we could talk about planning that out for next year as well. Right now, we do have our mental health therapist on site who is providing some level of training, but we again would want to look at what are the opportunities and put together a plan that we could use for next year as well.
Mm-hmm. You've allocated about $10,000 there, and I think if you were able to, again, partner with some of the departments, in the county office, you could likely address both the social emotional learning and the suicide prevention. And the Cognito training is currently available, and it would be at no cost to your program.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
So I would recommend um, connecting with Dr. Powell
Mhm.
in our youth mental health department so that your teachers can gain access to that Cognito program.
Okay. I will share that with the staff. Absolutely. And a lot of the work that we're doing too is with Inclusion Collaborative. They're certainly providing a lot of the universal design for learning strategies, inclusion practices. So some of the work that we started this year will be carried on for next year using some of these funds as well.
Okay, great. Anything else that you would like to share related to these funds or this planning, including any next steps that you have?
The next steps would be then to, at the next staff meeting, is to talk to the staff a little bit more specific about what they feel the needs are and what they would like to participate in, and coming up with a plan that we would implement next year, but some of the things that we can do this year as well. One of the things being the Cognito training, I think is an amazing opportunity for our staff.
Director Morales, are there any public comments on this item?
Let me look, Dr. Dewan, one sec. There are no public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you for that update. So I see our next meeting is scheduled for December 16th. And I wanted to make a request that I understand we'll have the agenda item for adoption of the educator effectiveness plan. Additionally, I'd like to request just a report on the status of the Opportunity Youth Advisory Council. I understand that they may have met recently, and last time we met, you mentioned that you would be bringing forward those appointments for my approval.
Right.
So I'd like to just get a report on how the advisory council is doing.
Absolutely. I will put that on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dewan.
Seeing no additional public comments and having addressed all of our agenda items, I will now take action to adjourn today's meeting. Thank you to the whole team for all of your work today. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye. It was quick, short and quick. Okay, well, send me that recording. I got a lot of it, but it wasn't much to it. But just in case I missed something from that Dr. Dewan, want to make sure I get her recommendations. I know. Okay, good. All right, well, let me finish this.